Hello, welcome into the Sports Take Show. Matthew Coller and Derek Wetmore here. Derek, I've got a take on sports, and that is that Matt Stafford should now be considered the best quarterback in the NFC North. Is that over the line, too hot for you, or is that just right?
I need to take off my sweater. It's getting a little bit warmer in here because I'm just not ready to buy that Aaron Rodgers is done at an elite level of play. And maybe that's a hot take. I don't know what your opinion is on Rodgers, but it would just be very hard to see that somebody that physically talented and kind of like otherworldly good at quarterbacking could then just sort of fall off the map and not be himself absent any sort of physical injury, which I don't think we've seen. So anyways, Aaron Rodgers, is he not better than Matt Stafford anymore?
I think he's probably better than Matt Stafford, but I think the Lions' offense is quite a bit better than Green Bay's. As I've watched a little more of Green Bay, I think that Aaron Rodgers is carrying like a 50-ton truck on his shoulders. I mean, he's got a coach who hasn't changed the offense in a very long time. He's got Jordy Nelson, whose legs don't really work the same anymore, and then nothing else in terms of talented wide receivers. I do not buy into Devontae Adams as a super talented wide receiver, but I was watching against the Falcons last week with Green Bay, and the one thing I saw was a few shades of old Rodgers where he was moving around in the pocket and finding guys in the back of the end zone with making great accurate throws. So yeah, I don't think it's time to count it out yet, but I do think that as an overall offense, since Detroit brought in Jim Bob Cooter, I think that Matt Stafford is about as dangerous as anyone. I mean, when you're trying to parse out these things like, well, how much is it that Stafford has all these weapons that are more impressive than anybody else in the NFC East? The NFC North. I mean, how much of it is the offensive coordinator? How much of it is the system? I don't really know how to assign percentages on that right now. I just know if you asked me which one of these offenses is the most dangerous in their passing game, then I think it's Detroit. Even if Matt Stafford, if he was playing for Green Bay, he might be horrendous, but I don't think you can really just put your finger on exactly how that would look without knowing. So I'm going to say that he's the one that I wouldn't want to face out of all of the offenses. I don't know if Detroit is really that great of an overall team because their defense is bad, but I'd be concerned with facing them because of that offense.
I have to give a shout out here to my friend, Chris Reavers, with what I thought at the time was the hottest sports take I'd ever heard when he said that Calvin Johnson retiring will make Matt Stafford a better quarterback. Coincidentally, I would say, and I'll ask your opinion on this, coincidentally, Matthew Stafford is having a great year in his first season without Megatron. Is there correlation here? Did Calvin Johnson retiring force Matthew Stafford to become a better quarterback?
No, that's still one of the worst sports takes that I've ever heard. And the reason is that the second half of last year, he is also this good. But since Detroit wasn't in contention, you didn't hear about it. That's one thing. The other thing is that Marvin Jones does exactly what Calvin Johnson would be doing in this offense. With all the weapons that they have, with Riddick coming out of the backfield, with Golden Tate. It's just that he would be better at it than Marvin Jones. Even though Jones has been tremendous, one of the best receivers in the league in terms of yards per catch, Calvin Johnson is unstoppable. The only argument you could make is that you would feel compelled to throw it to Megatron all the time, and that would hurt you a little bit like Adrian Peterson with the Vikings and feeling like you have to give him the ball because he's the star. But no, you're not a better offense when you take out one of the greatest wide receivers of all time. Quick before we wrap it up, did you watch KD and Russ last night?
I did. It was more like KD and KD and KD and KD. Did you see the Westbrook entrance? Because that was maybe my favorite part of the whole evening that we've been circling on our calendars for a while now. When Westbrook walked into the arena?
Yes, I did see that. Can I both love him and not love him at the same time?
Yes, that's perfectly reasonable. In fact, I think Westbrook might be becoming my favorite character in the NBA. I mean, I've always kind of liked his style of play, that he just didn't really care. And you talk about feeling compelled to go to somebody. I was always going to be curious to see, how does Durant changes a player now that he's not sidekicking with Westbrook and vice versa. How's Westbrook? Westbrook's been sensational so far this year, up until last night, of course, when he was still Westbrook, but it was very clear that no one can blame Durant for leaving for greener pastures anymore after the performance Golden State put on. But I just love the character acting of putting on the photographer gear, trolling Kevin Durant, listening to Chance the Rapper dancing into the arena. I was like, this guy is awesome. He might be my new favorite character.
Yeah, I really thought that when Durant signed with Golden State, I was like, NBA is going to go back to being boring now, and I'm not really interested. And then as soon as the season comes around, all in.